is on my side. Yes, it is. What's up, people? We are back in this thing. Welcome back to the Classics, the cinematic movie podcast that takes you back to the iconic films of 20 years ago. I am your guy, Jay Alonzo, right here on iHeartRadio. Back in this thing. We missed y'all. It's only been a week, but, we missed y'all. And I'm here with a special guest. I know I said Kay Williams will be on the show, but he couldn't make it today. So I got another unofficial co-host. But whenever I'm in the jam, he comes through in the clutch like Steph Curry in the fourth quarter. Make some noise for Beat Network's own CEO, architect, the man himself, Big Los. What's up, man?
I'll definitely take that comparison to Steph Curry simply because he's more than just fourth quarter clutch. That man is a demon. He might be Azizel. Low-key. He might be the Azizel of NBA. But what's happening? Big Los of the Noise in the building.
What's going on? So today we are here to talk about a very classic movie in a sense. This is a movie that, upon second viewing, not second viewing, more like fifth or sixth viewing, but a movie that's celebrating its 20-year anniversary, and it's like it holds up, but doesn't really hold up.
I'm going to be completely honest with you and as well as these cinefolks. So when Jay Alonzo told me that I would have to step in for Kay, shout out to Kay Williams, I have been doing a shit ton of things. So when it came to our memory, like, oh, okay, I got to watch the movie for Back to the Classics, I watched Michael Douglas in Falling Down, which is an amazing movie, by the way. I haven't seen that movie in years. But I was watching the movie, and I'm like, this seems way older than 20 years.
Falling Down is like...
That's 93.
Yeah, 93.
So I looked it up, and I was like, shit, 1993. And I was like, oh, I think Jay Alonzo was talking about Falling. And yes, you were talking about Falling. So this is a movie that I've only seen once. I'm going to do the best I can to fill in here. It's going to be a lot of Jay Alonzo driving and me doing a shit ton of backseat driving. And we're gonna make it. We're gonna just do this.
We're gonna get through this thing. Appreciate you being honest.
No, of course. No, because I don't want to get too far in, and they're like, yo, he may not know what the fuck he's talking about. I'm just gonna tell you up front, I may not know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Well, let's kick off 2-minute drill. Hopefully we can get the 2-minute drill without any incidents here. You ready for 2-minute drill, Big Los?
Let's get it. And first of all, is his name Azazel or Azizel?
Well, we're going to get to that, but yeah, Azizel.
Okay.
All right, 2-minute drill starts now. All right, so the theme song for this movie is Thomas on My Side, performed by who?
The Rolling Stones.
That is correct.
What did the old lady say to Hobbs in the street that made him realize that was Azizel?
Shit. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, I don't know.
Some answers you really don't want, partner.
Yes, got you. All right, here we go. Denzel Washington and John Goodman collaborated on this movie. Name the other.
Shit.
5.
Do I need to name one person?
No, that's it. No, they collaborated on this movie and another movie. What's the other movie?
And another movie?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, snap.
5.
What was it?
4.
Come to me, damn
3,
it. What?
2. 1.
Parent me.
Flight.
I kept wanting to say like plane. I kept wanting to say everything else. So now we come to find out that the killer that was killed in the beginning wasn't really the killer. Azizel was the spirit that's really the killer.
Mm-hmm.
But what was the name of the person executed?
Reese.
What's his first name?
Oh, shit.
You cheating.
I'm not cheating.
5.
He went by Reese.
4, 3, 2.
Edgar Reese. And I did cheat.
You did.
I did.
Very much so.
But ding. Here we go. Where we at with this? We have 15 seconds. Who plays Lou?
I can't even tell you. Go ahead and air me on that one.
You wanna take
Wait, hold on. Was it down to Sutherland?
No.
Okay, then
Five,
no.
4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. James Gandolfini.
Again, I haven't watched this movie in quite some time. A lot of the notes that you're going to get is going to come from what I found online to kind of spark my memory of the movie. Fun fact, this was a flop, wasn't it?
In some cases, it is considered a flop, for sure. Absolutely. So if you don't know what movie we're talking about, we're taking it back to 1998, the first movie of 1998 for Back to the Classics. Very happy to do this one. We're taking it back to Fallen. The Denzel Washington, back when he was like, I don't know, 30-something, 40-something.
He was young.
He was definitely a much younger face, Denzel, for sure. Fallen, original release date, January 16th, 1998. Shares opening weekend with Half Baked and Hard Rain. Production budget is $46 million. Box office total, $25.2 million. So it didn't make no money back. And currently sitting at a 40% on Rotten Tomatoes. You think that's fair?
40% is fair. If I can reach into my memory and really think about the movie, it was a good movie, but it wasn't a memorable movie.
When you really look back at it, you know, I think the concept was dope, but in a sense that, you know, the spirit of Azazel, you know, he travels by, you know, of contact with another person. Mm-hmm. So if you think about it, if that spirit would say, like, in somebody and they was in the nightclub, you think about how often you actually bump into somebody, you know? So that he's bouncing from body to body to body to body to body all up in the nightclub. So by the time it makes to the DJ, everybody's dead.
That's like that scene in the movie where he's like chasing the killer, and then you get to that obvious crowded ass street, and everybody's crossing the street, and everyone's kind of walking past Denzel singing the song "Time Is on My Side." I felt like that was something that was okay. That's a definite possibility. If that had been in San Francisco, you know how many people would have been singing?
Oh my God! Like all of the bass, in unison, time.
San Francisco is the biggest pedestrian city I've ever been in.
On my side, yes, it is. So obviously that song is definitely the theme for the movie, because the killer Edgar Reese, played by Elias Codius, which is interesting because you only get a glimpse of him really in the opening of the movie,
right? And
you do see his weird mentality of how he views things. Like, you know, he's definitely like I don't want to call him like a devil worshiper, but he's definitely a serial killer for sure. Mm-hmm. But he has this thing against Hobbs. Well, obviously Hobbs booked him, you know, busted him, and pretty much got him to the point where he's going to be executed. But the movie opens with this the voiceover from Hobbs, and he's running through the snow, and he goes, "Let me tell you about the time how I almost died." Right. So we go back to when he goes to see Reese on the day he's about to be executed, and they have this exchange. And so the exchange is really eerie because off rip, Edgar Reese is an odd fucking person.
Very much so.
You know what I'm saying? Like he has that weird thing. But now what makes it funny is that as they're going back and forth, and then Hobbs is pretty much, dude, you're gonna die soon. I can really give a fuck what you got to say. When he reaches out to shake Hobbs' hand, right, and he's shaking his hand, then the camera cuts onto the hand. He does this thing with his thumb, right, that clearly identifies something. Then he goes from speaking English to this
Aramaic
language, obviously setting up some sort of a curse,
right,
or some sort of a calling to that fallen angel, you know, that was the demon, really.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And he's also saying time was on my side. So as we get to the actual execution, which is another eerie scene, he's walking in there, and he's one of those dudes to where as he is getting ready to meet his fate, he's sitting there, light up my life. And it was like, when serial killers know they're about to die, they're going to go out with a bang. Like a big bang.
Something memorable.
Very memorable. So when he dies, the spirit as we know it is leaving his body and is pretty much searching the whole crowd.
Right.
And it makes his way over to the guy that's pretty much conducting the execution.
Right.
So I feel as if the concept of this movie is smart. It's actually very smart. I just feel as if for it being 1998, I think it could have been better executed. No pun intended. But but Jonesy and Hobbs, that's John Goodman. They're now investigating a string of murders by an apparent what they believe is a copycat killer, right? And he's getting hints initially given by Reese, and later by the apparent copycat killer. So he, at this point, the spirit has already traveled from a few people. It gets to this one skinny white guy. And the white guy was so funny because he goes up to his, I'm going to say his job, his boss. And the boss like, you're late. And, and he says, hey, why don't you take this sandwich and stick it up your ass? Or no, I think the line was, how would this sandwich fit up your ass? Or something like that.
Oh, you fired.
Oh, you fired. And the next scene is crazy because he literally goes to this thing and you see the body in the tub, which by the way is Jeremy Renner.
Right. When I was trying to like glance over as much as I could with the movie, I was like, holy shit, this man has been working.
Yeah, that's Jeremy Renner. I'm like, oh, wow. So
another fun fact, what else I kind of caught on to seeing Jeremy Renner that young, I was like, holy shit, he did play Jeffrey Dahmer, didn't he?
He did play Jeffrey Dahmer with the bowl cut.
And an amazing execution of Jeffrey Dahmer at that.
But the movie didn't get much recognition. Well, it was indie. So
it was just like what's the movie? Even though they're about to redo it, but the Ted Bundy movie, Bundy
with Zac Efron.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the one they're redoing it with. And honestly, I'd say really good casting choice. The acting, I'm not all the way sure is going to be there.
Zac Efron?
Yeah.
I think he's trying to get as far as, well, I think at this point, he's established himself as an actor to where he's no longer the High School Musical kid,
right,
with Neighbors and Baywatch.
But exactly, with those movies, it's been a lot of either child stuff or it's been comedic stuff where you see Zac Efron really flourish. This is a serious character. And then you look at the original Ted Bundy movie, that's going to be a pretty hard performance to beat, but being that it's going to be on a bigger budget with a bigger actor, I pray for the best for Zach. But I'm sorry, that was just a fun fact.
Wasn't Ted Bundy the guy that were Laura Boys in there?
No. That technically was Jeffrey Dahmer. Ted Bundy was a rapist and a murderer. So he would rape and murder, basically rape and murder women. And I think his youngest victim was like 13 or 14 or something like that, or even younger than that, actually. He was a pretty sick motherfucker and definitely deserved his consequence, which was the electric chair.
Right.
But
did he sing "Time"?
Not at all.
Is on my
side. He had a really weird obsession, like with his girl. He used to tell his girl to play dead, and he used to while he was smashing, he'd be like, "Fuck you, bitch," like in the middle of the shit going on. You have to be a very strange individual to be into that kind of stuff. And then, I felt like, first of all, God rest all the victims, but his girlfriend, you just realize that this man is interested in necrophilia. It's time to bounce, or at least time to tell somebody, like, hey, this dude, he may be on some different shit.
He's off. He's definitely off.
Like, he's had me play dead the last 6 times we've had sex. It's getting a little weird around the third time.
It's no longer fun anymore.
It's no longer fun.
So, okay, getting back to the movie. So he gets this clue. Oh no, I'm sorry. Here we go. So Reese gives Hobbs a riddle, and I believe the riddle was why is there a space between? I want to say I don't remember the fucking names, but it's one name and then Kloski or some shit like that. But he comes across this lady named Greta Milano, and that's played by M. Beth Davids. You don't see her in movies anymore. Wow. Greta explains that her father, who was a former detective, he killed himself after being accused of various demonic themed murders, similar to what's going on now. So obviously there's something as a copycat killer. So Hobbs goes out to the Milano family's lake house. He finds the books about demonic possession, and he also discovers the name Azazel written on the wall.
So it is Azazel. I know
Azazel. I thought it was like Azazel or some shit. But when he mentions the name to Greta, she advised him to drop it to protect your life, protect your family. This is not some shit you want to fuck with. You know what I mean? And as a cop, first of all, as a man, I take that warning very seriously.
Very much so.
I mean, you're not gonna tell me don't pursue it, and I'm gonna pursue it. No. You said don't. I won't.
Don't pursue it. Cool.
All right, I'm gonna move on. Fallen Star and Jay Alonzo would be like 10 minutes long.
We wouldn't even be reviewing it right now.
No, I'd be leaving. but she reconsiders after she gets this weird encounter with this dude on the street, and she explains to Hobbs that Azazel is the fallen angel, that he has the power to possess human beings by touch. Going back to what we said about being in the club and like 20, 30 people just got possessed by Azazel within like 10 seconds.
First of all, ew, germs. Secondly,
super germaphobe.
That's just the movie really should have been executed a lot better. For that exact reason, you're guaranteed to touch. If this is all based off of touch and you don't know where Azazel is, you're guaranteed to touch at least 30 people in your average day.
Right.
You know what I mean? No matter where, you have to legitimately stay home to avoid time.
Yeah, that's what I said. Think about how many times, maybe not in a day, but think about how many times you just been out and just accidentally bumped into somebody, or somebody accidentally bumped into you. So if that person bumped into me, somebody like nudged my shoulder, and that's Azazel. So now I'm all of a sudden I'm all like demonic and shit.
Right.
Like I don't need that problem.
And it's like you're either gonna die or he's gonna jump to somebody else.
Yeah. So I'd rather just have it jump to somebody else. I don't want that smoke.
Right.
All right. So
like I'm haunting a nigga if I get killed because of the demon.
I'm hunting a few motherfuckers.
I'm coming back like word.
Okay.
Right.
I ain't forgot. Hobbs realizes that Azazel is he's while possessing Reese, he touched Hobbs right before the execution, but he wasn't able to like possess him. So Greta explains that the demon will try to just ruin your life by another way, and she warns him of the inevitability of Azazel's victory. You know what I'm saying? Because he's determined, because it's not necessarily a demon. It is a demon. It's a fallen angel. And as Hobbs, Hobbs realizing, or now he's starting to realize that Azazel jumping from body to body. You see the little girl, the old lady, everybody. I think even his brother gets possessed by him at one point. Cause
was it his brother? Because I remember there was it. If I'm remembering the right movie, he possessed somebody, and that dude attacked his mentally handicapped brother. Mm-hmm. So was that Hobbs' brother?
Yes, that's Hobbs' brother.
Oh, okay. Wow,
yeah.
Shit.
And so, but the thing that's really connecting all of these possessions is that they're all sinking. Time is on my side.
Right.
And so, he counters that he knows of Azazel's true identity, to which Azazel responds, beware my wrath.
Very random sidebar, kind of backtracking as well. Have you ever noticed that every time somebody plays a mentally handicapped person, it seems like they're all channeling their inner Sean Penn, I Am Sam?
You don't go full retard, man.
You don't go full retard, but Sean Penn himself, he actually went full retard for that movie.
Yeah, I'm like,
He said it took him some time to break. I keep imagining just accidentally still being mentally handicapped.
Are you okay?
Hey, it's a good movie. It's good.
It's a good movie. Good movie.
We're probably gonna get the same amount of dislikes that we got on.
And this is no disrespect to anybody's mentally handicapped. We're just having fun.
What was that, Beverly Hills Ninja? That was like your most listened to, most hated episode. It's crazy.
Only because we didn't like the movie.
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk to my fucking opinion.
Sensitive asses.
Anyway, so to provoke Hobbs, Azazel he possesses his nephew Sam.
Oh,
and then Sam attacks the brother. There we go. That's what happens. And
I remember a little bit.
Yeah. He flees into other people on the street, ending up in this school teacher, which I do remember that scene a lot. And the teacher draws a gun, forces Hobbs to shoot the teacher in front of a group of bystanders. So once again, so now the teacher's dead. Azazel jumps out and goes to a whole different body. He can transfer to any new host body in the surrounding area without even needing to touch them now, which is
It's creepy.
Surprising, because at one point we learned that he can only move by touch.
Right.
So now, so does that mean he can if he's in a body and that body gets killed, now he doesn't need touch. Now he can just move how he wants to move.
Yep. Which is basically how he moves the rest of the movie.
Wow. Stanton, played by Donald Sutherland, which, by the way, Donald Sutherland is one of my actors who I've never seen him raise his voice.
He kind of doesn't need to.
He's very monotone.
And then when he does raise his voice, he's not really raising his voice. He's just kind of asserting himself in a sense. But you know what, though? Again, to my memory, Donald Sutherland looked a lot like J. Jonah Jameson in this movie.
You know,
because he had like a little box cut.
Yeah, he had the box cut, but you know, with
soul patch.
Donald Sutherland had that, you know, the nose and the chin thing that is just synonymous to who he is.
Right.
Like Kiefer has his own look.
Right.
Daddy Donald has a very distinctive look. So like, you know, so I can see him playing J. Jonah Jameson. I can see him playing J. Jonah Jameson.
Basically, you know, Donald Sutherland gets in any movie and just plays Donald Sutherland.
Basically. So Stanton informs Hobbs that his fingerprints were found at one of the murder scenes, and along with the really odd, bizarre circumstances of the shooting of the teacher that Azazel possessed, he has now become the suspect for all the murders. Mm-hmm. And so, going back to what they say, he's going to try to ruin your life. I may not kill you directly because I can't get to you, but I'm going to fuck your shit up.
Right.
Better believe it. So it's almost like a Loki complex. You know what I'm saying?
Like a what?
Like a Loki complex.
Oh, low-key. Got you. Okay.
Like a logo.
They said it's like a low-key complex. I'm like,
huh? It's not very low-key about that.
Right.
So he inhabits, Azazel, I'm talking about, inhabits several of the witnesses, gives the, you know, bullshit stories about the shooting, and it was unprovoked, basically making it seem like Hobbs just lost his shit. He comes back into his home, and now Azazel murders Hobbs' brother, right? While now also marking Sam, the nephew. And so Hobbs then takes his nephew to Greta's house to keep him safe. And Greta explains that if forced out of the host's body, Azazel can only travel in spirit form for as long as one breath can sustain him. Mm-hmm. And so if he does not possess another host in time, he will die permanently. So now we kind of know what we have to go about to permanently get rid of this fucking thing.
Right.
Which basically leads to the full circle when, you know, in the opening of the movie when Hobbs is kind of, you know, struggling to get through the snow. Talk about the time he almost died. Hobbs goes to the to the Milano cabin, calls Jonesy, knowing that Jonesy is going to trace the call clearly, and so Stanton, Jonesy, they pull up to arrest Hobbs. However, Jonesy now reveals he's possessed. John Goodman is such a dad. Like, it's hard to see John Goodman play like a hardcore, you know, tooth and nail, you know, detective, because you're such a dad. You know what I'm saying? But John Goodman is such an incredible actor. It's like you try to kind of keep him off the Roseanne thing. Even though he's done way more shit since Roseanne, but
right.
But it's like seeing him, you know, play these characters. Like when I saw him in 10 Cloverfield Lane, and he has that really odd demeanor about him, I'm like, what happened, man? That's John Goodman. That's the big homie.
It took me a while to like really catch on to it. And I don't know why, because obviously shit kept coming out. And I remember I said it to you when we were watching 10 Cloverfield Lane. I was like, John Goodman quietly eats consistently. Like you just turn around, all of a sudden John Goodman's in the movie. And he doesn't really have like a, you know, his characters in movies aren't people that you could just take out. You know what I mean? So like even with what he did with Kong, you needed him because you needed that information. You needed to patch together why the fuck we're on this island. You couldn't do that without John Goodman's character. But it seems as of late, he hasn't had main characters, but he has, you know, really significant pieces type character, a significant piece type character in all the movies he's done. My first experience with John Goodman was the Flintstones, to be completely honest with you. Ever since then, it's just been like, hey, there go Fred.
It goes further back to Flintstone. You know, he obviously was the dad on Roseanne, but
yeah, of course. But I'm saying my first experience, if I had to draw back to my first memory of something John Goodman, then it was the Flintstones. And of course, they had Rick Moranis in it, who just disappeared. But I understand why he disappeared. Shout out to Rick Moranis, which is a random shout out. But that was like my first experience with John Goodman. So seeing him in so many other things as we got older, it's been pretty dope to see his career. See his career grow into what it is
to
today.
flourish to what it is today, and now we're on the on the verge of getting the Roseanne reboot,
which doesn't make much sense. But I guess since everything is, Pretty Ricky got a fucking reboot, so I guess we could start. We could do TV shows.
We're now in the time of like things are getting rebooted left and right. Like fucking MacGyver's back on TV, so we're not too far removed from a Roseanne reboot for sure.
Yeah.
But getting back to the movie, Jonesy does get possessed by Azazel and then shoots Stanton, or kills Stanton rather, and prepares to shoot himself, which will allow him to possess Hobbs. The only person for miles as far as like where they're located at, where the cabin is. So if he shoots himself, I can only go to Hobbs. Right. So Hobbs attacks Jonesy, and the fight, the struggle in the fight, manages to shoot and mortally wound Jonesy. Right, and so Hobbs explains that he has poisoned himself, and which will leave Azazel without a host before shooting and killing Jonesy. So Azazel now takes possession of Hobbs, and then he attempts, he attempts to flee. He's going through the snow. He's I don't want to say he's dying, but he's definitely feeling something. What I'm saying? And that's when you see that Hobbs is in the snow, and then he does actually dies from the poison. Right. And so that's how the movie pretty much wraps up.
No.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, okay.
So in the voiceover, he reminds us that this is the story how he almost died, and so revealing that he is really Azazel, and then the cat who had been possessed by Azazel emerges from the I think he came from underneath the cabin.
Under the cabin, yeah.
And then he begins to head back to civilization.
To do it all over again. So it's left with kind of like almost like a cliffhanger, if you will, that they never return to.
They never return to, because you're left to believe that did Hobbs die?
It's crazy because it seemed like the entire team that took down Azazel when he was possessing Edgar, it's like they all got. So it's like now he's kind of free to carry on another string of copycat murders. And
then the cat, the cat's headed back to the city.
Of course. That's going to be a winded cat when he gets back.
He has, apparently he has strength and stamina. He can make it there for sure. So that's the movie. That's Fallen. So let me ask you this. A movie like Fallen, could you see it being remade today?
I can see it being remade today. The only thing that would piss me off is that there probably would be a lot of unnecessary CGI added to it. I felt like the way that they did the possession was corny but I can understand it because it was for the time. They're going to try to add something unnecessary to it today. I think it would be better today, but they'd have to keep it as paranormal activity-y as possible. Like, we don't need the visual of the actual soul jumping from person to person. You know what I mean? So I feel like we would get that today.
When you say CGI, like what exactly would they really put CGI on?
Like, you remember, what was the movie? Michael J. Fox.
Oh, The Frighteners.
The Frighteners. There you go. So you remember the way he got possessed? Mm-hmm. I feel like it'd be some silly shit like that. Just to kind of get the point across, like, that's Azazel.
Yeah.
And the only reason that's not far-fetched is look at the very last Paranormal Activity where, now you can see the ghost, and it was just this big-ass ink blot. Like, I feel like they would do something stupid like that to drive the point home. And then it's going to be in 3D. Like, no, we don't need that to happen again.
All right, well, let's get into takeaways. Do you have takeaways?
Nope.
All right, so I'll just give you mine then. My That Guy award is going to go to Hobbs because it's Denzel, damn it. You know what I'm saying? Like, Denzel, he does no wrong. And, the man's been a leading man for the last 80 years and shit. And, I feel like the character of Hobbs is a character that he goes in there kind of ignorant to the actual situation until he's shown some shit that you don't normally see every day. So he has to adjust and now you have to figure out what's going on. Now the problem is he now gets down to the bottom of what's going on, but then he for what we know, he dies from it, and then he loses his family because of it too. As far as we know, Greta's gonna raise the nephew now because Hobbs is dead. That chick award, Greta. Greta is a character I really enjoy. First of all, it's the only chick in the whole movie.
Yeah, but I say it ain't many.
But Greta's one whose own father went through this situation, and she knows the outcome of the situation. So all she can do is prep you for what's going to happen. You can try to fight it, but whatever. This Fool Award, Lou, played by James Gandolfini. He's one of them asshole detectives. He clearly is from New York, but he has that whole, he's sitting there, he's eating his pizza, and he's kind of got those smart remarks, kind of thinking like everybody's a dirty cop, even though he himself gives off the impression that he's a dirty cop as well.
Right.
So Lou was definitely not a favorite character of mine at all. And then my cut that out. I wouldn't cut anything out. I think the movie is just shy of 2 hours, and I think it flows very well.
Can't really afford to cut anything.
Yeah, because when Azazel was jumping from body to body to body, it's like, all right, we kind of need this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then as far as iconic scene, I'm gonna go back to the execution scene because it's such an eerie moment in the movie, and it's the very fucking beginning, especially when Hobbs goes to see Reese. And they have the exchange. Reese shakes his hand, speaks the language to pretty much put the possession on Hobbs. And even the walk to the execution room, he's all walking and singing and kind of blowing kisses at the other inmates and all that. He's a killer. He's a guy that just doesn't give a fuck. And it sets the tone for the movie, which I thought was just really dope. Then the execution scene was just so eerie because by the time they actually begin to execute him, he's looking around, he's blowing kisses, and and I don't know what it'd be like to sit in the execution room to watch somebody just get knocked off.
It's got to be like, even though a lot of times the victim's family want to be there, for some reason it just reminds me of the Green Mile, kill him twice, but. I guess it's settling for the victim's family to actually see the person that caused them so much pain to be killed. But at the same time, you're still watching a man die.
Right.
So I've never understood having witnesses to the execution. I've never understood why the family would be invited to some shit like that. And why they would even accept.
Well, it gives them, from a solace to see the person that, killed their family member, killed whatever.
Yeah, but it's still burned in. I mean, granted, it's almost like a measure of revenge, but it's burned into your memory. I saw a man die. Like, you can officially, when you take a little funky ass Facebook post, have you ever seen somebody die? Yep,
I have.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's not pleasant.
That's just a random thing. Like, well, why are you comfortable with that kind? But if you see it in the streets, you're all kind of, it's all traumatic and shit.
Man.
And gas chamber death doesn't look fun if you the way Reeves went out.
I still think nothing really tops seeing the electrocution.
Oh, that had to be crazy.
That's crucial. Imagine the smell in that room.
I got branded in there. That smelled like bacon. So
like beef jerky. All right, let's get into quick hits before we wrap this thing up. During pre-production, Elias Koteas traveled to Ohio to meet a man who could speak Syrian Aramaic to help with his dialogue. Aramaic. Aramaic. The man who was happy. Shut up. The man who was happy to help.
He speak that ceramic, though.
Ceramics, right? Got it. The man who was happy to help, but would not say the swear words in the speech, as he was too religious. As such, the production had to find another Syrian Aramaic public school speaker who was willing to speak the profane lines for Koteas. Okay, so at least you know that this is what he was saying is real things.
So he was legit cussing, but he couldn't actually say the words because he didn't know it? Or would he just refuse to cuss?
Oh, no. Well, the guy that taught him the language, he refused to cuss. So you got to find somebody else who can actually teach him how to cuss.
What the fuck am I paying you for? Even Will Smith cusses in movies.
Hey. Denzel Washington spent time traveling with detectives to prepare for his role. He soon learned that some of the cops carried 2 pairs of shoes around with them in the trunk of their cars. Since the shoes they were wearing would often get blood on them from them attending various murder scenes. So Wow, you keep more pairs of shoes in there because you're gonna step on some blood.
Because you know you about to be around some crazy shit.
See, I couldn't be a cop. I couldn't do it.
I mean, there's like a bunch of reasons why I couldn't be a cop, but yeah, that would definitely
that's definitely one.
Being hated by my community, you know, that's kind of a leading factor.
I'd rather not. Jeremy Renner appears as a corpse in the bathtub early in the movie.
He was eating early, man.
a very young Jeremy Renner for sure.
And now he's Hawkeye. Look at God.
He's moving. Despite Warner Brothers titles usually having their pay cable debuts on HBO, since the two companies are owned by Time Warner, this film premiered on Stars due to a previous agreement with the film's producers. So
I remember that because they used to play it like every 10 minutes.
Well, yeah, because Warner Brothers is essentially, well, they don't own HBO, but usually all the Warner Brothers stuff goes to HBO first.
Right.
So for this one to go to Stars, it's like, oh, normally Stars has like Touchstone and I'm drawing a blank. Miramax, the Weinstein Company. But for this to be a Warner Brothers movie to go to Stars, it was different, a lot different. So.
And then I felt like Baps used to come on after it.
Baps probably did come on after that. Swear to God.
Stars used to play the same 6 movies over
and over again.
I know they happy they got
Billy
power.
Madison would play a lot, all that
Hell
shit.
Yeah.
The precinct house and the squad room used are those in the long-running television series NYPD Blue. Gregory Hoblit also directed NYPD Blue. Ida Totoro, who plays Tiffany and appears with James Gandolfini. Later, they would appear together in The Sopranos, and Nicholas Totoro appeared in NYPD Blue.
Rest in peace, James Gandolfini.
Rest in peace to James Gandolfini, one of the an actor who, you know, he's had a lot of film roles, but he's always known as Tony Soprano.
Always known as Tony Soprano, and it's crazy because he kind of plays Tony Soprano in everything that he's in, but not a mafia boss, you know what I mean? Like he's always just like that tough.
Because he knows how to make that voice,
right?
Because that voice he does as Soprano,
and the eyes, his look is
yeah. That voice that's not his actual voice. He created that voice for several roles actually,
right?
But Soprano, he had that like cotton dripping thing.
The usual mob boss voice.
Yeah. Here we go. So last one before we wrap this thing up. In the original screenplay, the role of Greta Milano was originally 2 characters. Greta, an elderly sage named Maud, who knew much more about Azazel than Greta. In this version of the story, the cabin in the woods scene was Maud's home.
Oh.
So they just shot it down to Greta.
Ultimately, like, here you go.
Keep it simple. I mean, we only have one lady in the movie. Let's have her be the lady in the movie, which is fine.
Which, you know, a lot of movies I've noticed doing these multiple shows with you, a lot of movies, they didn't really focus on female characters. Like, they sprinkle them in here and there, a little Salt Bae here and there.
Yeah, affirmative action, I like to call it.
Yeah, basically. Now, man, thank God for the women's revolution in Hollywood, man, because that had to be a tough time to be an actress in the 90s.
Man, but now we're in the Me Too movement. We're in the Time's Up movement.
That's rape related. I wouldn't necessarily do that.
Rape culture. You know, I think we all, like Charlamagne the God said, we all grew up in rape culture, but we're now at the point to where women are getting their just due, and I'm very much happy for that.
Yeah, that I'm very much so happy.
So
we're getting some great fucking roles.
Oh yeah, Captain Marvel's coming up. Cannot wait for that.
Shout out to DeWanda Wise, fine ass.
Yeah. She's gotta have it. Big Los, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. It was a quick one.
I wish I could have been more help, but I appreciate you inviting me.
But you're a great listener.
But hey, if you were doing Falling Down, I'd have been ready.
we know I may break the rules a little bit, and I may bring back Falling Down one time because that's a great movie.
You can get somebody. I'm not watching it again. It's a long movie,
and it's low key depressing. You talk about
it's very depressing.
You talk about a movie where a guy just literally loses his shit.
Like he looks like an IRS agent, like the entire movie.
Let the people know where they can find you.
At Big Los UTC on Twitter, Big Los IG on Instagram. You can also follow the Noise pages at the Noise Podcast on Facebook and Twitter. You can actually find it off that same handle on Facebook. Yeah. Shout out to Hollywood Kev.
Dig it. You can find me on all the social media simply at I am Jay Alonzo. You talk to me, I'll talk back. The Back to the Classics Facebook page is up and popping. Jump on there. You get a lot of the news clips, a lot of the clips from live sessions that we have here at Beat Network, as well as the Back to the Classic Instagram page. We're working on that now. It should be up sometime today. Just bear with me. I'm gonna get it done. I promise. And like Lo said, beatnetworkonline.com. You get access to all your podcasts, your merchandise, and of course, every day, constantly updated news postings by my man Dwayne. And shout out to the whole Beat Network family. This is Back to the Classics. I see y'all next week. It's going down. Thank y'all so much, Cinder folks. Love y'all. Peace.
Deuces.